All right, and we are back with my deck tech, and I'm going to be battling with a Sultai Delve.
You have to stop. You have to stop saying "and we're back" because then we're gonna have to make commercials for all of these times. Just so you know, you just say, "Hey, I'm BBD. This is my deck tech. I have no hair."
But Bradley, I want to make commercials every time. That's my end goal. So just one step closer to being Billy Mays or whatever. I don't even know.
Billy Mays?
Isn't that his name?
He died.
Oh. I'm sorry.
All right, so Sultai Dredge.
Speaking of zombies, Sidisi Brood Tyrant is a Naga shaman, but makes zombies. So the deck here is based around the idea of, it's not like a reanimator deck, but it's based around your graveyard as a resource. So the main key here is to use Sidisi to generate a lot of zombies. And we have a lot of ways to facilitate that. We have Satyr Wayfinder and Nyx Weaver, and Sidisi herself. But Nyx Weaver can trigger Sidisi every single turn. Satyr Wayfinder can trigger it once when you cast it. And then we also have Sultai Ascendancy, which can trigger Sidisi every turn. And the way Ascendancy works is every upkeep, you look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can put any number of them in your graveyard.
Yeah, and it is really cool when you're digging for something.
Yes.
Along with just fueling all of these cards that you're trying to use. Like, you have a lot of delve, but at the same time, you have a lot of ways to generate resources for those delves.
Yeah, there are a lot of delve cards, but having played a lot of these delve cards, I'm not too worried about filling up my graveyard because I feel like there's going to be a lot of that happening with a lot of the cards in this deck. So let's talk about some of the delve cards we have access to. First one is Murderous Cut, which is frequently going to just be a 1-mana removal spell in this deck. It's going to be like the Swords to Plowshares of this deck.
It's going to be as cheap as you need it to be.
Right. And you can pay 5 for it if you want to and preserve your graveyard later for things like Necropolis Fiend, which is kind of like Tombstalker basically. And he is we actually saw him last time I played Brad, and he was a huge powerhouse there.
I feel like if this was on like a TV show and we did have commercials, that this would be the flashback, and that's black and white, that I'm all terrified, you know? Because that was really bad.
Yeah, it would flash back to you with a big board and me just like killing your guys.
It was not a good time. But today's going to be better because it's going to take a lot more mana for you to turn that combo on.
Well, we would have to dig through time to find the footage for that. So instead, let's talk about Empty the Pits. That's right.
And all the Sam Blacks you're going to try to generate today.
Yeah, all the Sam Blacks a Magic player could love. So Empty the Pits is quad black XX. We can exile any number of cards from our graveyard to make a bunch of zombies. And I think that this is a very strong finisher because decks are probably going to have to blow their removal spells on things like Nyx Weavers and Sidisis because of how out of control these cards can get if they get left unchecked. And the hope is that they Bioblade, all these kinds of things, and then we can just empty the pits for like 8 zombies and then kill them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's such a powerful card, but it's so punishing, too. It's like, if you have it and I have to deal with other things, I will have to just tap out and die.
Exactly.
And it's not like a card that I can come back from. And that's the thing that this format doesn't have yet, or that no one's been building around, is the oops, you're dead cards. And that is just the one. Like, I don't see a game lasting that long with that card, nor do I feel like in a deck like this that just playing to that is going to be like a bad strategy.
Yeah, and I like we have so much grind ability that I like that this just kills them, just ends the game. Like,
yeah,
especially if we're trading resources back and forth. And then lastly, dig through time. And I think that this card is actually really, really good. Could have also played Treasure Cruise instead, but I like the ability to...
Does it put the 5 cards in the graveyard?
No, unfortunately
it doesn't. I didn't think so.
It would be probably too good if it did that.
It just pays for itself every time you cast it?
Yeah, so it's 6 blue delve. You look at the top 7 cards and you put 2 in your hand. So if we're behind on board, we can find 2 removal spells, or try to find 2 removal spells. Or if we're ahead on board, we can try to finish the game with like Sphinx or Empty or things like that. Really just lets us like...
If we're mana screwed, we can go get lands.
Yeah.
Off of our 8-drop.
That seems really good.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. I'll probably do that a few times.
Because you just keep the 2-lander and get stuck there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But still cast all my spells.
Just brick, have to do it, and then still come back to beat me because you never lose.
Man, you're just really speaking my language today.
Yeah.
I like everything that you have to say. And then lastly, I have Prog Nasty Sphinx, and I think that This card was a huge hit in Block Constructed, and I think it's probably going to be good in Standard as well, as just a big, beefy way to attack Planeswalkers, and it plays defense pretty well, and it's hard to kill. Just all around very good. We can also use the Scry with Sidisi to set things up too. So I can be like, all right, attack with Prognostic Sphinx. I guess I'll leave Satyr Wayfinder, in the top 3 cards of my library, and then Sultai Ascendancy it to get a zombie or things like that. We can really manipulate our draws really well with like Nyx Weaver and stuff too. So
yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this deck plays out.
So, yep, I'm excited to battle with it. Let's go ahead and look at the sideboard first, though. All right, so we're back with the sideboard, and I think it's just self-explanatory.
I mean, it is so obvious that I can't even believe anyone would even make us deck tech this, because it's logical.
I mean, 4-4-4-3.
Your goal is to play this, attack with it,
cure it,
so you gain 2 life, and then bring it back so you can drown it next turn.
So I can bring it back again.
So you can bring it back again.
Do you find that line of play disdainful, Bradley?
I do.
All right, so
but I will not.
You'll not what?
I will not stop. Thinking that that's a line, because I don't want to, stoke your ego.
I think
that was the worst joke I've ever made.
It's actually stroke, by the way.
It is stroke?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, damn, I thought it was disdainful stoke. I'm
gonna have to flame you for that stoke joke.
I'm just gonna concede that joke was so bad that I'm on mute until we're done here. So.
All right, awesome, Bloodstoke Champion. So this is a card that I have added to a lot of my mid-rangey decks in the sideboard because there are a lot of matchups where creatures just die. Your opponent just kills all your creatures. That's an interesting look on your face, Brad. Yeah, your opponent just kills all your creatures, and you need something to just keep coming back over and over again to overwhelm their removal. And I think he's very good in this deck as well because we're going to be milling over him a bunch. So he's going to trigger Sidisi a lot, and we can mill over him a bunch, attack with a zombie, and then bring a couple back. Feels very much like Life in the Lone Bloodghast. And then we also have 4 Varika's Cures and 3 Drown in Sorrows because I anticipate that red decks will beat the crap out of us. So that is why I have those cards in my sideboard. And then Disdainful Stroke is just a card that has been very good in testing so far. Mm-hmm. Just counters all the good cards in the format, and it only costs 2 mana. It's super hard to play around. I know that this is my least favorite card of the set so far because I keep losing to it.
Sure.
So I'm excited to hopefully have Brad lose to it as well. We can share in that. That's all I got.
I accidentally already said sure.
Got him. Just like I'm going to get him in the video. Stay tuned.